So we have a lot of top stories for you. First off, Jenny Horne is with us, markets correspondent here on Schwab Network, talking about Berkshire. A good report. Tell us a little bit about some of the standout parts of this report.
Yeah, ironically, Nicole, I wouldn't think I'd be saying this, but their insurance business was like a huge point of strength for their overall profits this quarter. I mean, surging almost sevenfold from where we saw figures a year ago. And of course, their insurance business is inclusive of Geico, a major insurer, but that was just one figure that on a year-over-year basis was really strong. Now, I read the note to shareholders from Warren Buffett because it's always a really captivating read. He said that Berkshire is here to last and built to last, but still they did temper some of their expectations for overall share price, as he did admit the company should do a bit better than the average American corporation, but its huge size left no possibility of eye-popping performance. He did say there remains only a handful of companies in this country capable of truly moving the needle at Berkshire, but they have been endlessly picked over by them as well as others. Mind you, their biggest holding is still Apple. That's like 50% of their overall company, so that's still a huge part of Berkshire. But overall, we did see a record $37.4 billion on operating profit and around $96 billion in net profit for all of 2023. Mind you, those shares have risen by a whopping 4.3 million% since Buffett took over back in 1965, or about 20% when you compare annually. So it's actually outperformed pretty substantially when you look at it versus the S&P 500, for example. So that's a huge reason why Buffett has, of course, such a strong following. He did also say that right now he is ready for his successor, Greg Abel, to take over, and he said he will be ready to be the CEO of Berkshire tomorrow if need be, because there was a concern that he was basically expressing some heartfelt feelings about Charlie Munger, who did pass in November at age 99. So all in all, really interesting note. I recommend everyone to read the note to shareholders from Warren Buffett. It's always really fascinating, and I think good way to set the stage for markets in 2024.
Yeah, it's always a good read, no doubt. And of course, Charlie Munger, such a big proponent there at Berkshire Hathaway for all those years. May he rest in peace. Thank you for all of that. In the meantime, Li Auto, what a different story than that, what we saw of Rivian and Lucid. In this case, we're seeing Li Auto up 15%. Tell me a little bit about this one.
Right, pacing for its best day in a year and a half. I mean, this was a stark difference, a really good point from some of the Chinese players, but even Tesla was not exactly the strongest post-earnings mover, but Tesla is up about 4%, almost 4% today now, just on the strength of Li Auto. They did say revenue soared 130% to $5.9 billion. Now, they did earn about 60 cents per ADS. That was up from 4 cents a share reported a year ago. They did already disclose in early January that they delivered a record 132,000 vehicles roughly, with their cheapest EV, the L7, actually accounting for about 40%. They did give somewhat lower expectations for the first quarter, although delivery is expected to be around 100 to 103,000. That's still up 90 to 96% year over year, but is below their fourth quarter record of 132,000 vehicles. So all in all, this was a strong report. Guidance was somewhat lackluster, but I do think it's important to keep in mind that on Friday, March 1st, we will get February delivery figures from a lot of these Chinese players like NIO and XPeng, as well as Li Auto, and they did disclose that they'll be formally launching their Mega MPV, or their minivan, the first fully battery electric vehicle that will be released March 1st as well. So we do have a next catalyst. That's Friday to look forward to for all of these EV names, of course, in the Chinese market.
Yeah, and it's interesting because last week when we saw Rivian down, and today it's up about 3%. BYD, which is a Buffett favorite, since you talked about Buffett, I thought of it. Now there's talk about increasing the share buyback there. That one has an up arrow today too. Thank you for all of that. Jenny Horne, markets correspondent. Great to see you. Thank you.